Sorry, I like that beat at the beginning. My buddy Under the Influence now, actually he goes by what was his name, Unavailable. I think that's what he's going by. He's great. But yeah, he made the intro, and I was gonna turn it into a song, and I decided, if it's better for me to do it as an intro, and I have a bunch of other tracks from him that I'm working on. But yeah, shout out to him for the intro. Welcome to First Kick Seahawks. Today is Wednesday. It's really late. Part of it was because I kind of threw out my neck earlier, and so it's hard to prop yourself up and do everything you need to do. And I don't got no schedule, so I do things when I feel like it. Today I want to talk about the leadership, not in the coaching part of the roster, because we've talked a lot about coaching lately, especially after this Dallas game. But heading into this 49ers game, as we've turned the page now and we're focusing on this rivalry week against a team that I've already said I think is going to beat the Ravens in the Super Bowl, the 49ers. I want to talk about the leadership within the 53 and the practice squad, and how, there's only so much coaching can do. But when there's leadership within, the actual warriors in the locker room, we talk about how they're leaders of men, or they're warriors, and they're loving our brothers, LOB, or we're a bunch of players, we're a bunch of gamers, yeah, or we're just showing up to work and we're a bunch of coworkers. What is the mentality of the leadership within the Seahawks locker room right now? And many times we just kind of point fingers and say, well, you have Bobby Wagner, the All-Pro. He's in there. And then people really respect Tyler Lockett, and people really respect, Quandre Diggs. So, they must be like leaders in the locker room. But leadership is actions. And it's something that has to be shown to everyone else. You ever go to a meeting and the leader there is talking? They're just talking and talking and talking. Yeah, so here were the numbers that we did, see? And then the other day we had this number, and I just want to give it up to Susan, who just had, golly gee, just a wonderful week last week. And I just, and so like, it's not the head manager, it's like the manager underneath, right? Like technically it's like one of the peers, but they're going through like all right, everybody, here we go, right? They're saying the thing. Everyone's heard the thing before. Maybe you've even delivered the thing. Like, what are you supposed to say? Like, all right, guys, like, shout out to blah, blah, blah. Here, like, no. There's different ways to deliver messages to a team. And even KJ Wright, he was asked by G. Scott, I think after the Dallas game. It might have been after the first 49ers game. He's like, what should the team do? And KJ Wright said, well, they need to get a Legion of Boom player in there to talk to the team and get them all pumped up and ready to go against this 49ers team. I'm going to just say it was after the Dallas game, and it's going to be against the 49ers. And she's like, but they already have that. They already have Bobby Wagner in there. And KJ said, well, Bobby Wagner's already said all those things. He's already been in there. You need to get another voice in there to go in there and pump them all up. I mean, sure, I could see that. I could see that being effective if the guys in the locker room are already leading by example. Meaning, when you have somebody like Jamal Adams saying, when they go low, I go lower, against Jets reporter Connor Hughes, who's doing everything he can every week to shit on Jamal Adams in his career. So Jamal Adams then takes a screenshot, not of Connor Hughes, but of Connor Hughes' wife, and posts that on Twitter and says, "Yikes," to insult the appearance of Mr. Hughes' wife, insinuating that Mr. Hughes' wife was ugly. What type of leadership is Jamal Adams showing the rest of the team? You can't say, well, he's like on a rookie contract or he's no. He's one of the highest paid players on our team. And leadership is shown through actions. And so while all right, guys, let's give it up for Boye Mafe for getting all the sacks this year, and let's give it up for Witherspoon for possibly being Defensive Rookie of the Year. We have Jamal Adams going and taking a shit on some reporter's wife's face all over the NFL world to see, and then coming out afterwards and saying, I stand by what I said. You know? And I wouldn't take it back. When they go low, I go lower. It's not a good example. It doesn't set a good culture in the team. Sure, Richard Sherman went after Skip Bayless. But that's on Skip Bayless's show, where the whole point of the show is to cause drama and yell at each other. And then Richard Sherman, when he ever talked smack, went on the field and backed it up. He didn't talk smack after he just got embarrassed, apparently, by a tight end against Dallas on Thursday Night Football, which is what the yikes reference is from, because Connor Hughes posted the video of Ferguson beating him in the left corner for a touchdown. And Connor Hughes posted that and said, yikes. So he was posting that shit. And then in retaliation, it's just an abusive thing to do, Jamal. So why would you want an abusive mentality in your locker room? Get him out of there. And normally I think Rob Stadden has a little bit of a pedal to the metal with some of his takes. But he's right. I don't want to root for Jamal Adams if he's going to be going after somebody. Like, if he posted the face of Connor Hughes and said, yikes, it'd be a little funny. But he'd went after the dude's wife. Like, it's like the 50 Cent meme. Like, what you got to come after me for? Like, where the fuck did that come from? Right? Because then it could be like, you know, like, oh, him and Connor have beef, right? And then it's a little funny, right? Like smack talk between, and so like maybe he could be more mature, but but you don't need to go like right after the dude's wife. Come on now. And it's just, I don't want somebody that immature getting paid that much by our franchise. Let's put that money into somebody that's more mature, that can show the young players on our team like Witherspoon how to be mature. Because if he's making that poor decision in front of the whole world to see, what type of poor decisions is he making in the locker room and how to prepare? And he's like getting in the faces of players. And I even commented in that Dallas game. It was not just, it was after, I think there was a block on the back on one of these screen passes, and then they got into like a face-to-face argument, and Jamal did like Trent Williams punch somebody in the face, and a flag wasn't thrown. The refs were terrible all day, and there should have been a penalty on the Seahawks for Jamal Adams punching a player in the face. for like 15 yards, and he should have gotten like a warning. And then if he did one more thing, an ejection. But they didn't throw it. And this is to bring up like DK Metcalf. Like DK Metcalf's had a bunch of those things where he just kind of lost his temper. And he commented earlier in the season, I think it was just before the season started, that last year, 2022, he tried to be the leader in the locker room, but he was doing so, I think, vocally. And he learned, I don't remember exactly what he said, but I'm trying to sum it up. He learned that just speaking all the time doesn't lead, and that he had to do so by like his actions and things like that. And then this year, he's been more of the leader, right? But he's been leading also by setting bad examples with the flags and with the attitude and things like that. And it's always kind of been like Doug Baldwin was the leader of the wide receivers. And then for some reason, everyone assumed Tyler Lockett was going to take over. Well, kinda. It was Tyler Lockett and like David Moore, and then young DK. But I think Tyler Lockett was mostly the leader because that was Russell Wilson's guy. To be blunt, both fine young Christian men who see Christian values very, very similar. And I think they vibed very well together. They, it matters, right? If you have people with very similar spiritual beliefs, they get along well. And I think he and Lockett vibed really, really well, where Russell didn't necessarily vibe the same way with the other members of the crew. Not saying that he was wrong, or I'm not trying to I'm just saying, people have different energies when it comes to their spiritual beliefs, right? Different energies. And I think that their energies intertwined so well that it actually made a connection on the field. And that synced up. And so that created a natural leadership thing. So he might not have been speaking all the time, Tyler